Hi, my name's Lumbini, Tikkhabalo, and we're here at the I Monastery in Chiang Mai in northern Thailand. My journey, my original journey to discovering Buddhism, or discovering the Dharma as I later found out it was referred to, back in 2001. I was a struggling alcoholic, and somewhere in the middle of that year I managed to give up drinking, and slowly coming back to the real world, a friend of mine suggested meditation, and I went along to a Buddhist centre in Croydon in southeast London. And well, actually, before I went there, I went to the library just to see what meditation was about. I had no idea what it was about. And I asked for some books on the subject. I was given 2 books on Buddhism, the chapter on the Four Noble Truths, and that, just reading those Four Noble Truths turned my life. It just gave me a complete 180-degree turn. This is before I actually got to the Buddhist centre. So I was quite excited walking into the Croydon Buddhist Centre a few days later, and almost as if I had a secret, that I'd discovered the Four Noble Truths, knowing nothing really about Buddhism and knowing nothing about meditation, but having discovered the existence of suffering. The explanation of that, I couldn't articulate it at the time, but the explanation of that was, I was raised as a Christian in a Christian country, and whether you practiced as a Christian or not, there was still this subject-object dichotomy, yourself and the unseen God. And any problems, you made no attempt whatsoever to deal with those problems. I didn't view them as punishment from God, but I probably viewed it as God's will. So discovering, the Buddhist, the Four Noble Truths, that, suffering exists and why, and that there's a way out of it, was a complete revelation. And it took me a year or so to explain that to people, because it was such a revelation for me, because I was new to Buddhism. I didn't want people to think that I was just quoting scripture. So my initial foray into Buddhist practice was with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and that stuck around for a few years. That was 21 years ago. Here we are, as I said, in northern Thailand, having ordained as a Buddhist monk with a group of wonderful people for the last month. It's almost as if I've come full circle. It's now time for myself. I've listened to other people's stories, but it's now time for myself to really, start to refine, to question my own commitment. And that's what I've been doing for the last 30 days, with an amazing amount of help from the resident monks and mentors and teachers and staff here at this monastery. So I'm quite a happy person. I'll be leaving in the next few days to go back to the UK with a number of questions, but also with a number of reassurances and suitcases loads of ideas and things to do, things to be getting on with. Things that I should have done maybe a few years ago that I touched on. Studying that I'd began and never finished. Now's the time, and not just that, but the amount of personal time that I have means that there can be no excuses. It's not pressurized. It just is. I've got time. I've got the resources. I've got contacts. We will continue our contacts amongst ourselves when we leave here. It's a great support network, and I guess that's what a monastery is. But just globally, to know that you can just touch people that easily, and yeah, you get back in touch. It's not quite a support network. It is, but I'm not looking for support. But it's just nice to know that people will be doing the same as myself. Where it goes in the medium, I don't know. Buddhism has a massive message. It's already being used globally in the form of mindfulness. There is sometimes a debate with mindfulness. There's an accusation that mindfulness is not used properly, that it's been commercialized. The term mindfulness is a derogatory term. But like myself and others, we know the origins of mindfulness. We're familiar with the particular sutta, the Satipatthana Sutta, and other Buddhist references. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem explaining it to those that need it, and pointing people in the right direction. Like myself, I was lucky in my search. I was lucky to find it, but the more that we put Buddhism out there, the more chances for people to enjoy that. And maybe escape from, what people are referring to as the matrix these days. I think they called it the rat race years ago. But just this endless circle, samsara is the Buddhist term. But it's this endless circle of nothing, time and time and time again, and it drives people to despair. It's a very simple route out. It's a very subtle route out. You're not asked to do a great deal, and yet you're offered liberation. I mean, that's liberation with a capital L. It's not an understatement. It really is liberation. I've seen it in the actions of people that I've practiced with over the years. You hear it in their voices. It's genuine. This isn't, let's become a Christian for 5 minutes and be happy, and then next week go back to our real lives. This is for good. And when I say that, I don't want that to sound like some sort of prison sentence. It's not at all. It's a way of living. Yes, it is a religion, but it's a very pragmatic religion. As I said earlier, I'm still asking questions of myself, having discovered the support from lay people in this country, and experienced the same question coming from them. I feel it's a necessary direction for me to go in. I am a very happy person at the moment. So the meditation started off in April 2002 with varied consistency. As I said before, initially, the first few years, it was consistent. I was moving around with different groups, learning a lot from varied sources. Coming from London, there's no shortage of, let's just say, Buddhist material, Buddhist centres, temples, monasteries. I did live in a Tibetan Buddhist centre in London for 3.5 years. My personal practice of meditation has been inconsistent. Although, as a monk said to me in central France back in 2020, once you see this, you don't unsee it. It's the red pill from the Matrix film. But Buddhism was 2,500 years ago. The Matrix was, I think, 1999. This thing never goes away. I guess my problem was, that I was dragging my feet and maybe expecting too much, not getting that, and sort of giving up from time to time. But it has been progress. I've had a good working career in that period of 18 years. What we've been doing in the last 30 days is a reminder, to get back to consistency, and really to come back to basics. This is a real monastery. It's not a setup. It's not a 1 month retreat. Yes, we're here for a month, and I'm leaving tomorrow. But this place continues to be a monastery. Some people will be staying on for longer. Some people will be coming back. And this place, will probably go on for ages and ages. And it's a wonderful approach. It allows people to come in from all over the world, and at the same time, you will learn the Dharma, you will learn monk practice, you will learn monk precepts, and it is very, very, very comfortable. It is done in a really nice environment. I think if you use the word miracle in a conversation, people run a mile. They probably view you as, overly religious. But that's what meditation is. Maybe I should start by saying that's what the Dharma is. That's what Buddhism is. The practice of meditation gives you the experiential proof of that. So it really is a miraculous thing. You can go through months and years of practice, and meditation is the larger part of that practice. And you can find that you're stuck. But there's always a way through, usually through the teachings. And as you continue to use this process, things just become bigger and bigger, and you're able, not bigger that you're not able to cope. You're able to take all this on board. It's a responsibility that you're given with a toolkit to deal with the responsibility. Meditation. I would recommend it to all people. What I would say is that for some people, it's a big thing. The insight. I don't know why it's different for different people, but the insight comes for people like me and a lot of people that I've known over the years. I think that's there for anybody, but I think it's also what drives some of us to continue. Some people like to meditate for physical stress relief. There are a number of physical, almost medical, but for me personally, it was always a Buddhist journey. Meditation is Buddhism. Buddhism is meditation. That's my personal journey. If other people would just like to meditate and feel good, then that's fine. Nepali people. I think about 3 years ago, I was planning to go to Nepal to do a Buddhist pilgrimage. There are a number of people that travel to Nepal knowing it's the birthplace of the Buddha. I was surprised to learn that the percentage of Buddhists in Nepal is quite low. I thought it was at the other end of the scale. Maybe the message to the Nepalese people is that it's on your doorstep. It's under your nose. It's the greatest way of life that there is. And you've got it, yeah. I can't think of a simile elsewhere in the world where people just ignore what they've got in their own country. I know there are, similar things going on in the world, but it's there. It's there for everyone. It's easy to access. I do think people might run from religion, but Buddhism, as I said earlier, it's pragmatic. It's a way of life. Yes, it is a religion, but it is a way of life. And the benefits don't stop coming. If you do, devote time to Buddhism or meditation, you'll find those benefits. And if you do, accept those benefits and then continue on, because there is more and there is more and there is more. It's boundless. I mean, that's liberation for you, that there are no boundaries. We were talking last night. We had a gathering last night, and we were asked, how do we find more people to come here? And we went through the different techniques that you can use. But one thing I mentioned was that when we do find people, that what is the actual message we're going to give to them? What are the questions we're going to ask? And for me, there are a number of people out there who have started on their Buddhist journey, or at whatever stage they're at, I don't know, but they've started. They're now asking bigger questions, and they're maybe questioning their own commitment. The I Monastery will allow you to question your own commitment. It gives you the space to do that. It gives you the personnel to do that. It gives you the structure. Very, very friendly. Yes, it's organised, but it's very friendly. It's for a 30-day period with options of staying on. It's for a 30-day period where you can leave and maybe come back in a year or so and do the 30-day again. You can try this for a number of years, and you can question your commitment to the Dharma every time. It's the perfect setting for that. When I applied to come here and all these questions were asked on the actual application form, I went through a number of boxes and ticked yes, and then I questioned myself, and everything came back as yes, yes, yes. Occasionally I feel that I'm pushing myself slightly, but it's only slightly. This is the environment here is 100%.